going to now discuss about falling bodies, motion under gravity. That means we discuss about the bodies which fall only under influence of gravity. In practice, when two bodies of different sizes and masses are dropped from same height, for example, from the top of a building, they may not reach the ground simultaneously. That happens due to air resistance. But it was observed that if two bodies of different masses or dimensions are allowed to fall from same height above the ground in vacuum, for example, if they are allowed to fall inside a large evacuated vessel in vacuum from same height, so it was observed that both the bodies reach the ground simultaneously. That means irrespective of the masses and dimensions, so all the bodies at a given place will fall towards the earth with the same acceleration. That means in the absence of air resistance, the acceleration is same for all the bodies at a given place which fall only under influence of gravity. That means if no other force acts on the body except the gravitational force on the body by the earth, then the acceleration of the body which falls under influence of gravitational force of the earth is called as acceleration due to gravity. That means in the absence of air resistance, heavier or lighter, all the bodies will fall toward the earth with the same acceleration. This common acceleration of the body at the given place is called as acceleration due to gravity at that place. This acceleration due to gravity is a vector quantity which acts vertically downwards towards the center of the earth. It is denoted by small letter g. So while solving numerical problems in falling bodies, in most of the problems, usually you are given the value of acceleration due to gravity, small g. In some of the problems, it may be given as 10 meter per second square. In some of the problems, it may be given as 9.8 meter per second square. But if the value of the acceleration due to gravity is not given in any particular problem, but still we require its value in the solution of the problem, in that case, we have to suppose to take the value of acceleration due to gravity as 9.8 meter per second square. I mean, for the questions that may be given in board examination, sometimes you may not be given the value of acceleration due to gravity. So in that case, you are supposed to take it as value as 9.8 meter per second square. So the value of acceleration due to gravity can be considered a constant at a given place, but it varies slightly from one place to another place on the Earth's surface. Now I am going to discuss about the equations of motion for a body which moves only under influence of gravity. So I consider a body which is projected vertically downwards with some initial velocity u from certain height above the ground. If the height h above the ground from which the body falls from is negligibly small compared to the radius of the earth, then the acceleration of the body can be assumed to be constant. Here Kepler represents the radius of the earth. So the acceleration of the body which falls only under influence of the earth, I mean under influence of gravitational force by the earth, can be assumed to be constant at the given place. the height h from which the body begins to fall from is negligibly small compared to the radius of the earth. So in this case, that means I am considering the case where a body is projected vertically downward with some initial velocity u, so that it moves only under influence of gravity after projection. So in this case, acceleration acts vertically downwards. V is the final velocity of the body after some time t. That is also directed vertically downwards. The displacement of the body is also directed vertically downwards. So all the vector quantities, initial velocity, acceleration, final velocity, and displacement, are in the same direction. So I can give same sign for all quantities. So the acceleration can be assumed to be uniform. So we can use the equations of motion with constant acceleration. You can use the equations of one-dimensional motion with constant acceleration here. In the first equation of motion, you don't try to copy the notes at present. Later I will be giving you the notes, showing the notes on the screen, typed notes more systematically. If you are interested to write the notes, you can write at that time. But at present, you just listen. So in the equation V equal to U plus AT, if you substitute A equal to G, then the velocity of the body of time t is given by V equal to U plus GT. Similarly, in the equation S equal to ut plus half at square, put A equal to G, you can write displacement covered in time t is given by S equal to ut plus half gt square. And in the equation V square minus square equal to 2AS, if you substitute A equal to G, you get V square minus U square equal to 2GS. As I discussed in the past, displacement covered in the nth second is numerically equal to U plus A by 2 into 2n minus 1. So if you take A equal to G, this you can write U plus G by 2 into 2n minus 1. But you find more number of problems on falling bodies based on the freely falling body. That means if a body starts from rest and then begins to fall only under influence of gravity. That means if no other external force acts on the body except the gravitational force by the earth, and if the body starts from rest, then it is said to be falling freely under gravity. So for a freely falling body, you can take the initial velocity of the body u as 0 and acceleration a equal to g. So in the first equation of motion, v equal to u plus at, if you put u equal to 0 and a equal to g, you get v equal to gt. The velocity of the freely falling body at any instant is proportional to the time elapsed. In the equation is equal to ut plus half at square. If you put u equal to 0 and a equal to g, you get s equal to half gt square. S is the displacement covered in time t from the initial position. Should not mistake S as the height of the body above the ground. S is the displacement covered in time t from the initial position. And the equation v square minus square equal to AS, if you put u equal to 0 and a equal to g, you get v square equal to 2gs. Or v square proportional to s. And you can write s proportional to t square. And displacement covered in the nth second is numerically equal to u plus a by 2 into 10 minus 1. If you put u equal to 0 and a equal to g, this you can write g by 2 into 2n minus 1. Suppose if you want to find the displacement covered in the first second of its fall, then you can substitute here n equal to 1. That will be g by 2 into 1 minus 1, or g by 2 into 1. Of course, it's numerically. S2, let S2 denote the distance covered in the second. That can be found by substituting n equal to 2. That will be g by 2 into 3. The same way, if you find the distance covered in the third second, to find the distance covered in the third second, you have to substitute n equal to 3 in this equation. So distance covered in third second is numerically equal to g by 2 into 3 minus 1, or g by 2 into 5. To find the distance covered in the fourth second, put n equal to 4 and so on. It will be g by 2 into 7. Suppose if you compare S1, S2, S3, S4, etc. S1 equal to g by 2 into 1, S2 equal to g by 2 into 3, S3 is numerically equal to g by 2 into 5, S4 numerically equal to g by 2 into 7, etc. So you get 1 is to 3 is to 5 is to 7 is to all odd natural numbers, etc. For nth second, you get 2n minus 1. So in some of the problems, you are given the the ratio distance called last second and total distance covered, or you may be asked to find distance called last second. Suppose the total time of free fall in seconds is a natural number, then the distance covered in the nth second will be 2n minus 1 into g by 2. You'll get an odd natural number multiple of g by 2. Let us suppose total time of free fall. Let us suppose the total time of free fall be denoted by capital T seconds. Then Tth second is the last second. For example, in a particular problem, if the total time of free fall is 3 seconds, then third second is the last second. And suppose if the total time of free fall is 5 seconds in another problem, then fifth second is the last second. If total time of free fall is 10 seconds, then 10th second is the last second. In the same way, if total time of free fall is t seconds, capital T second, then Tth second is the last second. Then to find the distance covered in the last second or Tth second, you have to put n equal to capital T. So distance covered in the last second or Tth second are denoted by S subscript capital T. That will be numerically equal to g by 2 into 2t minus 1. The total distance covered or height from which it falls are denoted by h. That can be found by using the equation s equal to half vt square, h equal to half vt square. So if you divide the total distance covered during the fall if you divide the distance covered last second is the total distance covered, you get g by 2 into 2t minus 1 by half gt square. So if h is the total distance covered during the fall, means the height from which the body falls freely under gravity, and capital T seconds is the total time of free fall, then the ratio of distance covered in the last second and total distance covered, so t minus 1 by t square. Distance covered in the tth second will be the last second. Is the distance covered last second means distance covered tth second. That will be 2t minus 1 by t square. Suppose if the total time of free fall in seconds is a natural number, then 2t minus 1 will be an odd natural number and t square will be a perfect square natural number. That means there are two types of problems you find on falling bodies. In some of the problems, two types of problems based on this result. Some of the problems, total time of fall in seconds may be a whole number. That means you may be given total time of fall in seconds, whole number, like this. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, like that, all options. In some of the problems, it may not be whole number. Suppose the total time of free fall in seconds is a whole number, then 2t minus 1 will be odd natural number, and t square will be perfect square natural number. That means if the ratio of the distance covered in the last second to the total distance covered, if you are given to be equal to odd natural number divided by perfect square natural number, then you can directly, if you are given this ratio, t square, you can directly take in to be equal to the denominator on the right hand side. RHS means right hand side. Or time take free fall in seconds in numerical is square root of denominator on the right hand side. For example, if you are given that the ratio of the distance covered in the last second, if you are given that, for example, distance covered last second is 5 by 9th of the total distance covered. That means in a particular problem, if you are given that a freely falling body covers 5 by 9th part of the total distance during the last second. That means distance covered last second by total distance is 5 by 9. So here 5 is a odd natural number. 9 is a perfect square natural number. So then t square will be numerically equal to 9, or t is equal to root 9 or 3. Let us consider another example. Suppose if another problem, if you are given that this freely falling body covers 9 by 25th part of the total distance during the last second of its fall. That means ratio of the distance covered in the last second to the total distance covered. If it is given as 9 by 25. Here 9 is a odd natural number, 25 is a perfect square natural number. So in this case, you can directly take t square numerically equal to 25, or t is numerically equal to 5. But such a method can be used only in multiple choice questions, only when all the options, all the 4 multiple choice options given in seconds are given to be whole number without fractions. But suppose if you, another example if you take, suppose if you are given the distance cover, if a freely falling body covers 16 by 25th part of the total distance during the last second. If you are given distance count t second, means in the last second, is equal to 16 by 25 times the total distance covered during the fall. Or ratio of the distance covered last second to the total distance covered is 16 by 25. You cannot take t square equal to 25 then, because numerator is we have 16, which is not a odd natural number. The method I discussed earlier is applicable only when numerator on the right hand side is odd natural number and denominator perfect square natural number. So in this example, denominator is of course perfect square natural number, but numerator is not an odd natural number. So you cannot directly write t square equal to 25. So in such problems, in the general case, ratio of distance covered last second to the total distance covered by the freely falling body, as I discussed previously, this you can write 2t minus 1 by t square equal to 16 by 25. This equation has to be solved to find total time of fall. Next, I am going to show you the summary of my discussion so far about falling bodies. So whoever is interested to write the notes, they can take a pause wherever required and write the notes. I would like to show you the summary of the discussion. So look at the summary of the discussion I have done about falling bodies so far. And whoever wants to specifically write the notes, want to write a systematic notes of my classes, they need to copy only the typed notes that will show you on the screen, that is a PowerPoint presentation. But if you have my classes, in case you have my classes in your system, installed in your system at your residence, at your home, then it may not be necessary for you to write the notes. But still you must, once we go through the discussion we have done so far, summary of the discussion. The body is projected vertically downwards with initial velocity u from certain height h. Then brackets have written h double much less than capital R, such that it moves only under influence of gravity after projection. Then its acceleration a equal to g. So the equations of motion are v equal to u plus at. If you substitute a equal to g, the equation of first equation of motion v equal to u plus at, and s equal to ut plus half at square. If you substitute a equal to g, you will get s equal to ut plus half gt square. And if you put a equal to g in the equation, v square minus square equal to as, you get v square minus square equal to gs. And displacement covered in nth second is numerically equal to u plus g by 2n minus 1. That means the last equation is correct numerically, whereas first three equations are correct numerically as well as dimensionally. For a freely falling body, initial velocity u equal to 0 and acceleration a equal to g. The equations of motion are v equal to gt, s equal to half gt square, v square equal to gs, and displacement covered in nth second numerically equal to g by 2 into n minus 1. Those who want to copy the notes, they can take a pause and copy the notes. The ratio of distances covered during the first second, second second, third second, etc. up to nth second is 1:3:5:7:2n minus 1. If total time of free fall is equal to capital T seconds, then the ratio of distance covered in the last second and total distance covered during the free fall is 2t minus 1 by t square. Or same thing can be written as st by h equal to 2t minus 1 by t square nu square numerically. Here h is the total distance covered during the fall or height from which the body falls. St represents the distance covered in the tth second or distance covered last second. If you want to copy the conclusions, you can take a pause and copy the conclusions. If 2t minus 1 by t square is equal to odd natural number by perfect square natural number, then t equal to root of square root of denominator on the right hand side, which I discussed earlier. For example, if you are given that the ratio distance covered last second to the total distance covered is 5 by 9. Here 5 is the odd natural number, 9 is a perfect square natural number. Then t square can be taken as 9 numerically, t equal to root 9 or t equal to 3. That means total time of free fall is 3 seconds. It means if you are given that a freely falling body covers 5 by 9th part of total distance during the last second of its fall, you can take total time of free fall, you can directly conclude 3 seconds. And another example, suppose if you are given that a freely falling body covers 9 by 25th part of the total distance during the last second of its fall, then here 9 is odd natural number, 25 is perfect square natural number. Then t square can be taken as numerically equal to 25 or t equal to 5. It means suppose if you are given that a freely falling body covers 9/25th part of the total distance during the last second of its fall. Then you can conclude the total time of free fall is 5 seconds. So I will be showing you some problems based on one-dimensional motion with uniform acceleration. The starting level problems, initial level problems. The first few problems will be almost direct substitution problems where you get the answer just by using one of the equations. And later we'll discuss the other model problems. So look at the problems. Earlier I have discussed 3 problems based on the average speed and average velocity. So this is the first problem in accelerated motion. So from beginning, it's the question number 4. I have numbered the problem right from beginning of the topic. Look at the problem on the screen. A particle moving in a straight line path with uniform retardation covers 25 meters in 5 seconds before coming to rest. Find the initial velocity of the body. If you want to try the problem on your own, you can take a pause and try the problem. You're supposed to get the answer at 10 meters per second. Otherwise, look at the solution here. So you are given that the particle covered 25 meters in 5 seconds during retarded motion before coming to rest. So displacement is given as 25 meters, time interval is 5 seconds. Final velocity of the body is 0 when it comes to rest. You are asked to find the initial velocity of the body. So you can observe that. That means I have first listed out what is given. You first list out what is given in any objective problem. Next, write the quantity which you are asked to calculate. You find what is missing in the problem. You can observe that you are not given the acceleration. You can also observe that you are not asked to find the value of acceleration. So you have to choose the equation without acceleration. So you can choose the equation without the letter A. That is, displacement is equal to average of initial and final velocities multiplied by time interval. So you are given displacement as 25 meters. Initial velocity you have to calculate. Final velocity is 0. The time interval is 5 seconds. Simplify this. You get the answer as 10 meters per second. If you want to copy the solution, you have to take a pause and copy the solution. So look at the next problem on the screen. A body moving in a straight line path, that is problem number 5, with uniform acceleration of 5 meters per second square, acquires a velocity of 24 meters per second at the end of 4th second. Find the displacement of the body in first 4 seconds. So you first write down what is given in the problem. You are given the acceleration of the body 5 meters per second square. You are given that final velocity of the body is 24 meters per second at the end of 5th second. That is at t equal to the end of 4th second. T equal to 4 seconds. So you are given the final velocity v as 24 meters per second at t equal to 4 seconds. You are asked to find the displacement of the body. So you are given the acceleration, you are given the final velocity, you are given the time interval. You are asked to find displacement of the body. So you list out the quantities which are given in the problem. Also write the letter or quantity which you are asked to calculate. You observe what is missing. I mean, what is the quantity which is not given in the problem, or what is the quantity which is not asked in the problem. You can observe that you are not given the initial velocity to the body. We can also observe that you are not asked to calculate the initial of the body. So you can choose the equation which does not contain the letter u. The equation without the letter u, without initial of u, as I given the list of the formulae in the earlier class. S equal to Vt minus half Vt square. S is equal to Vt minus half Vt square. So here V is 24 meter per second, T is 5 seconds, the acceleration is 5 meter per second square, T is 4 seconds. This you can simplify to get the answer. T is 4 seconds. So you can observe that you get the answer as 56 meter. Of course, this equation is usually not given board examination textbooks. So in case a similar problem happens to come, the board examination, you are supposed to solve the problem using the equations given in the textbook. So you can first use the equation V equal to U plus AT to find the initial loss to the body. Next, use the equation S equal to UT plus half AT square to find the displacement of the body. If you want to copy the solution, you can take a pause and copy the solution. Otherwise, look at the next problem. Okay. See the problem here, next problem, problem number 6. A body starts with an initial velocity u and moves in a straight line with uniform retardation until it comes to rest. If it covers a distance of 3 meters during the last second of retarded motion and 27 meters during the first second, then find the total distance covered. This problem also comes under one of the cases I have discussed previously. Let beta denote the retardation of the body. As I discussed one of the conclusions in my earlier class, that if the body moves in a straight line path with uniform retardation for more than 1 second until the velocity becomes 0, then the distance covered during the last second of the retardation, the distance covered during the last second of the retarded motion before it comes to rest, will be numerically equal to half of the retardation. So if beta is the retardation, then the distance covered in the last second is numerically equal to beta by 2. It is given that it covers 3 meters during the last second. That means beta by 2 is numerically equal to 3. So beta you get 2 into 3 are 6. It means the retardation is 6 meters per second square. So you can take acceleration as minus beta, minus 6 meters per second square. Distance covered in the first second is given as 27 meters. You are asked to find the total distance covered. So you are given you know the value of acceleration. Final velocity at the end of retarded motion is 0. You have to find the total distance covered during the retarded motion. So in this problem, you are not given the total time of motion, and you are not asked to find the total time of motion. So we can use the equation without the time interval t. But we can first find the initial velocity of the body from the given information. The displacement covered in nth second is numerically equal to u plus a by 2 into 2n minus 1. So find the displacement covered in the first second. You have to put n equal to 1. So the acceleration is minus 6. N equal to 1. So you are given the distance covered in the first second as 27 meters. So from this you get the initial velocity as 30 meters per second. So you can choose the equation of motion in kinematics involving these 4 letters. A, V, S, U. That means you are not given the total time of motion and you are not asked to find the total time of motion. So you can choose the equation without the time interval t. That is V square minus U square equal to AS. Come on, if you want to copy down the problem, you can take a pause and copy down the problem and complete the calculation part yourself. Now itself. You can take a pause and try the problem. Substitute V equal to 0, U equal to 30 meters per second, A equal to minus 6 meters per second square. Come on, copy down and complete the calculation. I will be showing the answer on the screen. Answer is 75 meters. You're supposed to get the answer at 75 meters. Look at the next question, question number 7. A body moving in a straight line path with constant acceleration has velocity 30 meters per second and 40 meters per second at 2 points A and B respectively. Find the velocity of the body. First part of the question, at the middle of the time interval in passing from A to B. Second part of the question, at the midpoint of AB. This problem also comes under one of the special cases which I have discussed in my previous classes. The body passes through 2 points A and B. You are given the velocities V1 and V2 at the 2 points A and B. Velocity V1 at the point A is given at 30 meters per second. Velocity V2 at the point B is 40 meters per second. So already I have discussed the calculation for this case in the previous class. That is, in general, if a body moving in a straight line path with constant acceleration has velocities V1 and V2 at 2 points A and B respectively, then I have shown you with calculation in my previous class. So velocity at middle of time interval in passing from A to B. The velocity at the middle of the time interval in passing from A to B is given by, you please try to recollect the conclusion I have discussed in the previous classes, which I am directly using here, V1 plus V2 by 2. Here V1 is given as 30 meters per second, V2 is given as 40 meters per second. So you can substitute V1 equal to 30 meters per second, V2 equal to 40 meters per second and simplify it. For the first part of the question. In the second part of the question, you are asked to find velocity at the midpoint of AB. As I discussed, if a body moving in a straight line path with constant acceleration has velocities V1 and V2 at 2 points A and B respectively, I discussed in the past with explanation, velocity at the midpoint of AB will be given by root of V1 square plus V2 square by 2. You substitute V1 equal to 30 meters per second, V2 equal to 40 meters per second. Come on, simplify it yourself. If you want some time to copy the working, you can take a pause and copy the solution. Next, you can see the answers next. Answers are 35 meter per second and 25 into root 2 meter per second. That means for the first part of the question answer is 35 meter per second. For second part of the question answer is 25 into root 2 meter per second. It means velocity at the middle of the time interval in passing from A to B is 35 meter per second, and velocity at the midpoint of AB is 25 into root 2 meter per second. You can see the next problem. Come on, see the next question, question number 8. Two stones are dropped from the top of a tower from the same point, one after another, at a time interval of 1 second apart. Find the distance between the two stones at the instant when the second stone has reached a speed of 25.1 meter per second. Within brackets, we are given take G equal 9.8 meter per second square. Here both the stones are dropped from same point. Let us suppose each stone is dropped from the point O. So the second stone is dropped 1 second after the first stone. You are asked to find the distance between the two stones at the instant when the second stone has reached a speed of 25.1 meter per second. Let P be the position of the first stone and Q is the position of the second stone at the instant when the second stone has reached the speed of 25.1 meter per second. You are asked to find distance between the two stones at this instant. The two stones are dropped one after another with a time gap of 1 second. Therefore, the second stone will pass through the same point through which the first stone has passed through, but 1 second later. Both the stones move along same vertical line here. So if Q is the position of the first stone at the given instant, then it has a speed of 25.1 meter per second, and P is the position of the first stone. You can say that, let us suppose D is the distance between the two stones which I have to find. That means the second stone will come to the point P after 1 second. Because the two stones are dropped successively one after another with a time interval of 1 second. That means second stone is dropped 1 second later after the first stone. Therefore, second stone will move along the same vertical line along the same vertical line which the first stone moves, but 1 second later. So therefore, time of motion for each stone from Q to P is 1 second. So for motion from Q to P, I mean if you consider motion of one of the stones from Q to P, time interval is 1 second. For motion from Q to P, Q is the initial position, P is the final position. So initial velocity at Q is 25.1 meter per second. The acceleration for the freely falling body equal to G, that is 9.8 meter per second square. Displacement is equal to the distance from Q to P, that is denoted by D, which you have to find. So you are given the time interval, you are given the initial velocity and acceleration for motion from Q to P. You have to find the displacement, S, from motion from Q to P. So you have to select the equation in kinematics involving these four quantities. So you have to select the equation in terms of these four letters. You can observe what is the quantity which is missing. in the problem. That means you can observe that you are not given the final velocity v at this point P, and you are also not asked to calculate the final velocity v at the point P. You're not given the velocity at P, and you are not asked to find the velocity at P. So choose the equation without v, that is s equal to ut plus half at square, s equal to d, which you have to find. U is 25.1 meter per second, t is 1 second. A equal to 9.8 meter per second square, t is 1 second. So you get 25.1 plus 4.9 meters. So you get the answer at 30 meter. So if you want to copy the solution of the problem, you can take a pause and copy the solution of the problem. So I will be continuing the discussion of problems in my next class.